Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over some updates for the new car market. I will be posting a video in a couple of days going over some really big updates for the used car market because, well, quite a bit has happened with both of the markets in this sales month. Before we get into this video, some of the data in the video is going to come from Cox Automotive, and then also, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So let's start things off by going over the facts and the figures with the new car market. First off, inventory is at 2.56 million units. This is almost a million units more than what the new car market had just a year ago. That is a huge increase. This represents a 71-day supply, and the average asking price, or listing price, is $47,456. So basically what we've seen over the last year is that new car prices haven't really gone anywhere all that much, but the amount of new cars available has increased quite substantially. And just to put these numbers into historical perspective, so when it comes to the inventory, there was, I think it was about 3 million units prior to the pandemic in terms of new car availability. It was well over 3 million units. The day supply number was almost 100 days. So we don't have the inventory levels that we had prior to the pandemic. And obviously during the pandemic, inventory was well under this in terms of total inventory and then the day supply number. But at least with the day supply number, right, we're getting pretty close to pre-pandemic levels. But the problem is we are nowhere near pre-pandemic sales figures. Prior to the pandemic, the new car market saw about 17 million plus new vehicles sold per year, whereas now we're in the 15 million unit range. So we're down by like 2 million units per year. That is a massive hit to the US auto industry. And so automakers are reacting to this. You have automakers that are cutting production. You have automakers that are increasing incentives. You know, they're all trying to navigate the market in a different way. And I think this graph that they have that shows the day supply number with automakers is really telling. So there are a lot of automakers that are still below the industry average and still pretty low. Like Toyota, for example, 32-day supply. Like that is tiny. But yeah, you have the usual suspects on both sides. So on the low day supply, Toyota, Honda, Lexus, Kia, Land Rover, Subaru, BMW, right? All manufacturers that have been able to do a pretty good job with managing the supply of vehicles they have compared to, demand. And then on the other side, you've got, again, the usual suspects like Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Chrysler, Fiat, Alfa Romeo, so on and so forth, that always just have a ton of cars. But the thing that I find most fascinating about this graph is the amount of brands that are over 100 days supply. And there are several brands that are pretty dang close. I mean, Mini, 94-day supply, Mitsubishi, 96, Genesis, 99. But all of these brands that I'm going to mention, these are all now over 100-day supply. Just take that in for a second. So Nissan, Audi, Ford, Buick, Mazda, Volvo, Ram, Infiniti, Jeep, Lincoln, Chrysler, Jaguar, Alfa Romeo, Dodge, Fiat. And the thing is funny is this graph ends at Jeep. Jeep has 128-day supply. All that it says with Lincoln, Chrysler, Jaguar, Alfa Romeo, Dodge, and Fiat is that they have well above twice what the industry average. Like basically their day supply number is now so high that they don't even feel like putting it on the graph because it would just make the graph look really stupid because you have this just huge point going up. I think like Dodge is getting to the point with some of their cars where they've got like almost like, I think it's like a year of supply with them because of how slow the sales pace is. And so, yeah, the auto market on the new side of things is flipping very quickly. And to quickly dive into EVs, which I think is fascinating, the days, and this is, obviously the legacy automakers, not talking about Tesla, but anyways, 114 days is the day supply. So EVs on average are well above the industry average. And so this causes, is pushing a lot of automakers to pull back massively with EV production. I mean, Ford, for example, it says here at the end of the article right here, they're going to produce 1,600 Lightnings a week in 2024. They were originally planning on producing 3,200, so 50% production cut. Now, the next thing that I think is interesting that's very important for the new car market is new car affordability. So Cox Automotive has this article that claims that new car affordability is actually the best that it's been in a couple of years. So the peak of a lack of affordability was when the average new car was about almost 42 weeks worth of income for the average American. Now it's down to 38.5. Now, something to note is that this is well above the norm. If you look at, things historically, the car market usually sat in that, 32 on the low side to 36 on the high side in terms of weeks of income required for a brand new car. And that's when the car market was strong. And the car market was actually strongest in terms of volume when the average new car was in that like 34 week range, 34 weeks of income for the average American for the average brand new car. That's when the car market was consistently selling, 17, almost like 18 million new vehicles per year. So let's kind of put this all together. New cars, although the prices haven't gone down with the average listing price, right, that we saw, because the supply has gone up, we've seen the transaction prices actually go down year over year. So listing price versus transaction price, right? What dealers ask versus what people actually pay for the cars. So what people actually pay for the cars has gone down. At the same time, right, that income, right, it hasn't increased a massive amount, but the average American is making more today than what they were making yesterday. So that's how the affordability aspect has improved. Again, you pair that on top of the incentives and everything. And so with all of this data, we are veering towards a market where either automakers are going to have to pull back massively on production and just produce fewer cars, just live in a car market that it sees fewer sales, or they're going to have to bring down prices far more than where they're at right now. Again, we're at that 38-week range. They have to get down to 34 weeks. And so that, based off of what income is right now, you're not looking at like as insane of a price drop as what a lot of you might think. You're talking, if the average brand new car is $47,000, you probably bring down the average brand new car to what the average car, non-luxury car is selling for in that $44,000 range. So if the average brand new car, including EVs, luxury, non-luxury, was at about $44,000, that would be pretty close to that, 34-week range, which would then in turn potentially drum up some buying. It's just all going to depend on what else is happening within the broader economy and also with interest rates, right? Interest rates, it seems like they might start to come down somewhat soon, but they're still really high. The average brand new car interest rate is like 10% right now, which is, the highest it's been in a decade. And so I guess that, maybe automakers will be safe by lower interest rates. We'll have to see. But with all of this put together, let's just pretend for a second that the market dynamics stay the same, that inventory levels keep increasing as they have been this year, at the same time that basically automakers keep increasing incentives and dealers keep increasing discounts, but the overall volume of the new car market doesn't keep increasing. Well, I think it's going to cause this effect where automakers are going to have to make a couple choices, right? Either cut production massively or cut prices by a massive amount. And when I say massive amount on either side, it's, with production, instead of right now they're building as if the auto market's going to see 17 million cars. They'll have to cut down to as if the auto market's going to see what we are actually seeing, 15 million new cars sold per year. So a drop of 2 million units produced over the whole market. Or with pricing, again, on average per car, you're talking about a $3,000-$4,000 discount, which again, some of you might not think that's a massive amount, but that's big for the auto industry. That's a 10% discount on the average car. So that's pretty big. Let me know what you guys think about this whole market situation. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen to the new car market next year. But I think it really is up in the air depending on what happens with interest rates. I think that's really going to play a part because, frankly, some of you might be frustrated by this, but I think that if interest rates like meaningfully go down, like let's say the new car interest rate goes on average from 10% to potentially, 5 or 6%, then that might be enough to drum up quite a bit of buying in the market. I'll see you.